This is Advent of Code Day 6, and this challenge is called Wait For It. The ferry quickly brings you across Island Island. After asking around, you discover that there is indeed normally a large pile of sand somewhere near here, but you don't see anything besides lots of water and the small island where the ferry has docked. As you try to figure out what to do next, you notice a poster on a wall near the ferry dock. Boats race, open to the public. Grand prize is an all expenses paid trip to Desert Island. That must be where the sand comes from. Best of all, the boat races are starting in just a few minutes. You manage to sign up as a competitor in the boat races just in time. The organizer explains that it's not really a traditional race. Instead, you will get a fixed amount of time during which your boat has to travel as far as it can, and you win if your boat goes the farthest. As part of signing up, you get a sheet of paper, the puzzle input, that lists the time allowed for each race and also the best distance ever recorded in that race. To guarantee you win the grand prize, you need to make sure you go farther in each race than the current record holder. The organizer brings you over to the area where the boat races are held. The boats are much smaller than you expected. They're actually toy boats, each with a big button on top. Holding down the button charges the boat, and releasing the button allows the boat to move. Boats move faster if their button was held longer, but time spent holding the button counts against the total race time. You can only hold the button at the start of the race, and boats don't move until the button's released. So for example, time 7, distance 9, time 15, distance 40, time 30, distance 200. This document describes 3 races. The first race lasts 7 milliseconds. The record distance in this race is 9 millimeters. The second race lasts 15 milliseconds, and the record distance is 40 millimeters. And the third race lasts 30 milliseconds, with the record distance being 200 millimeters. Your toy boat has a starting speed of 0 milliseconds per millisecond. For each whole millisecond you spend at the beginning of the race holding down the button, the boat's speed increases by 1 millimeter per millisecond. So because the first race lasts 7 milliseconds, you only have a few options. Don't hold the button at all, that is hold it for 0 milliseconds. At the start of the race, the boat won't move, it will have travelled 0 millimeters by the end of the race. Hold it for 1 millisecond, then the boat will travel at a speed of 1 millimeter per second for 6 milliseconds, which is a total of 6. Then if you do 2, you have 2 milliliters per second, which is 5 milliseconds total, and you get 10. Hold for 3, you get a speed of 3, but then 7 minus 3 is 4, so then 4 times 3, 12. Then hold it for 4, you get 4, but for 3, and that's 12, and so on. Since the current record for the race is 9 millimeters, there are actually 4 different ways you could win. You could hold the button for 2, 3, 4, or 5 milliseconds at the start of the race. In the second race, you could hold the button for at least 4 milliseconds, and at most 11, and beat the record. And there's 8 different ways. In the third race, you could hold the button for 11 up to 19, with 9 ways you can win. To see how much margin of error you have, determine the number of ways you can beat the record in each race. In this example, if you multiply these numbers together, you get 288. So determine the number of ways you could beat the record in each race. What do you get if you multiply these numbers together? Okay, so we'll start off with this test input. So what we'll do is time equals list, then we'll do distance equals list. So for num in line 0 dot split by colon first index dot split if num time dot append int num, and just quickly print that out to make sure that works. This out of range. Oh really? Line 0. How's that out of range? What does this return? Oh, not line, input, my bad. Input, there we go, so we've got the 3 numbers there. Then we'll just copy this, do the exact same thing, but 1 here, and then distance here. Change this to times distances. Then we'll do, okay, so because we're multiplying it, we'll start off with total equals 1, and what we'll do for time distance in zip times distances. Let's print this just to make sure that works as we expect it to. That does, cool. And what we'll do is simple, I guess we can easily brute force this. So we'll do count equals 0. For I in range time, we will do speed equals I, and remaining, and then we'll do remaining equals time minus I, we'll then, if speed times remaining is greater than distance, count plus equals 1, then we'll do total times equals count, and then I think we can just return count. That returned 9. That doesn't sound right. Printed count, returned count instead of total. Total. And 288. Wait, was that right? Oh yeah, it is right. Cool. I thought it was much higher for some reason. So we will grab our input. We will chuck that into here. We will run it, and hopefully 393120 is our answer. And it is. So now on to part 2. As the race is about to start, you realize the piece of paper with race times and record distances you got earlier actually just has very bad kerning. That's really only one race. Ignore the spaces between the numbers on each line. So the example from before now instead means this. Now you have to figure out how many ways there are to win this single race in this example. The race lasts for that number of milliseconds, and the record distance you need to beat it is that millimeters. You could hold the button anywhere from 14 to 71516 milliseconds and beat the record. A total of 71503 ways. How many ways can you beat the record in this one much longer race? Okay, so it seems like I don't actually need to change my code at all for this. It's just, if I take this code, put it here, instead of sort of time distance, start off with time string, then time string plus equals number. Start these off as none, and then okay, same thing here as well for this. If num distance string plus equals num. Don't need this for loop anymore because it's just one single thing. Don't need total anymore either, do we? Just return count here. For I in range time. Okay, I forgot to time equals int time string. Then same thing here, but for distance. I think that's all that needs to be changed. Okay, well 12 is definitely not correct. Okay, let's just print out time and distance. 65. Ah, okay. That is why that didn't work. So now we do this. Now surely we will get the answer. Okay, we have the number there. Now let's paste it in and see if that's correct. And that was correct. Although there's probably some other way to do it that's not brute force, but didn't need to think about that at all, as brute force was fine for this. So that is day 6 of Advent of Code 2023. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so don't miss out on me completing the rest of these challenges this year.